Hey everybody, welcome to another Kristin and Charlie chat here on the Success Ability channel. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to this yet, take a risk and subscribe to us because we are talking about risk taking today. Are you in favor of taking risks? Are you risk taking averse? Well, we're going to dive into that today. All right, Charlie, this is a topic that used to be tough for me to talk about because I was not raised to be a risk taker. I was a rule follower. And we'll get into it in a little bit about when I took one of my biggest risks ever and failed miserably, but how I learned. It was actually one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. And I wanted to also start us off by saying when I was first considering dating after divorce in my late 40s, you have to put in music that goes dun, dun, dun. I was not very excited about it. But one of my friends that had found love again after his first marriage crumbled, he said, Kristin, you got to get out there and you got to fail early and fail often. I said, that's the weirdest coffee mug slogan I could ever have. But he was right. So what do you think, Charlie, about risk taking for success?
Really important, scary knowingness is risk. And that just came to me because my knowingness kept me stuck. My knowingness was that I know I'm not going to succeed, or I'm too afraid of what you think of me. I have this deep fear of the unknown that I don't know if this is going to, I want it to, but I don't know how every little step. But so I think risk, we're all paying a price, right, Kristin? I pay a price for success. We're going to pay a price. What price are you willing to pay in life to live the game of life? You said you were a follower. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm still a follower. I have mentors. I have guides. I know what you meant. It's like I kept my head down. I didn't share my needs. I didn't feel my needs and my wants were as important as somebody else's. They had an outspoken, they were so lucky. They were able to stand up and say, hi, let's do this. Okay. But I kind of wanted to do something else, but no way would I speak it. I wouldn't share it because what happens if out of the 5 people, no one wanted to do what I wanted to do and they teased me or I looked stupid? It's like, so I paid a real big price for not standing up for myself at times, for not suggesting what I might want to do. And hey, does anyone want to do that with me? So I mean, the price of not taking risk to me outweighs the price of taking the risk.
Totally agree. And I guess because I grew up such a rule follower and not a risk taker, I didn't have a lot, and I stuck with the stuff that I was good at, which was how I guess I was raised, or the world operated like that. You have success at the things you're good at, avoid the things you're not good at. But then that actually set me up for the biggest setback of my life when I found out that my first son was blind. That didn't follow any of the rules or my plan. And I felt like all of my life plans had failed. None of them were going to happen because now I had this thing that I knew nothing about, when it turns out that was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, to be able to grow I became the mom that I was supposed to be, because I would have been one of those moms that made my kids follow the dreams I had for them. I know that was the trek that I was on and why I was slammed by the blindness diagnosis. All of my plans failed, thank goodness, because my kids have been able to go out and follow their own dreams, and they're having lives. This is what always cracks me up with my blind sons. They say, people say take a risk and it's hard to take a risk and you have to coach people to do it. My kids are like, we're out there taking risks every day. We are living in a world not built for blindness. They have bounced back from failures, big and small, constantly. It doesn't faze them. They take information and learning from a failure and apply it and come up with a whole new solution to go in a different direction. I mean, it's interesting to watch the benefits and perks and the edge that so many blind people have over sighted people, because they are taking a risk to live the lives of their dreams in a world that is built with barriers everywhere for them. But they are definitely, my guys are definitely natural risk takers. Some risks I would appreciate that they would not do, like riding unicycles at night on a college campus.
I love how you add in at night. Like that matters. You sighted people forget.
Well, maybe people can't get out of their way. But, and I'll tell you this too. I did.
Oh, true. I didn't think of that. The people couldn't see him coming. See?
Oh,
that's
two
a good
different
one.
perspectives. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, years ago, like I said, I was a rule follower. I stuck with the things I was good at. And then I had an opportunity to start a nonprofit for research for the boys' blindness. And I took a very big risk because I know nothing about science. I was writing rap songs in biology class and chemistry class in high school. I was not paying attention to biology and chemistry. I am not a scientist. I had never thought that I would ever be a CEO. I wanted to be a third grade teacher. So I started a nonprofit, and one of the very first, it was the first outreach I did to my network. People send it out to all of their networks, and it came back through a very big network. I was mortified because a person that was in the field said, that cute little mom isn't going to make a dent in this field. She has no idea what she's doing. Oh my God, Charlie, that set me back quite a bit. I was embarrassed. I was not accustomed to failure, my own personal failure. I like to be successful. I'm competitive. I thought I was going to lose my mind. And I did make the choice to say, wait a minute. I owe it to my boys and the people that I rallied to support me with this to keep going. And you know what I learned? That guy was exactly right. I had no idea what I was doing. It forced me, I was trying to learn the science of retinal degeneration every night. I was reading all this stuff. I was never going to learn that. I would have to go to medical school. I ended up building a team of people that knew all the things that I didn't know. And I went out and found where I do have talents. I went and got really good. Public speaking, storytelling, writing, communication, all of that. And I let everybody else do all the stuff that they're really good at. It was one of my most hardest moments to hear that from him, especially in front of the people that he said it in front of. But at the same time, that failure was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. And 6 years later, he and I were on a very, very, very big, prestigious stage together. And I said to him, he goes, Kristin, your work is very impressive. It's an honor to have you in this field. How about that? I was like, I know, right? No, I just shook his hand and said, thank you very much.
You keep saying the word failure, and that's a naughty word. That's an embarrassing word. That's not something I ever want to show. And that's who I was. But you said it. It's fail forward. But I failed backwards. And I took very few risks, and when I made a mistake or it didn't work out, that was it. I shut down. I was too embarrassed, or I knew deep down I wasn't cut out for this game of life. I was going to have a very limited life. I'm legally blind. Don't you get it? It's so hard for me, people. Stop trying to teach me things. and it's like, I see that all the time. The many years I've been coaching and teaching success principles. It's not your blindness that's stopping you from taking a risk. It's not your parents. I mean, you might believe it is. It's not your school system. It's not the government. It's you. It's you believe that the word failure is the worse than the word risk. It's worse to step into something. I fail constantly, and that's why I'm successful. Edison failed, with the light bulb. I don't know what they call it. I don't know who they are, but I think I've read in a book, it was over 1,000 times. And people were like, what is wrong with you? Why do you keep doing this? It's never going to work. You have failed over 900 times. He's like, are you kidding me? I have learned 900 things that don't work. But he knew deep down that he was going to figure this out. So he kept moving. Thank God he did. You know, you said something very important. You knew you were going to become a CEO. I don't know how, but something is my inner prompting. Something is telling me that I need to do this. Mm-hmm. And you failed a few times or whatever it was, but you kept moving forward. You took the feedback. You asked the questions. You said, how can I course correct? What do I need to do? I'm telling you, I don't ever want to be that guy again. That guy that kind of falls down and then puts his head down and he kind of just follows the herd. And he has that negative self-talk. He knows deep down there's more to life, but not for him, for everybody else. And I'm not going to play that game anymore.
Nah, there's too much life out there to live. There's too much. Here's my thing. There's so much on the other side of fear of failure that it is worth it to me to risk failing at something, to risk looking like an idiot, to risk all of that because I know the reward that is there when it does work out. And there's just so much on the other side of that I wouldn't want to step out of the game, because then you miss that opportunity for the success. There was somebody, I forget who said it, and I'm going to butcher this, but it's something along the lines of they accept every failure because it shows them what they don't know yet, and they got to figure it out in a different way. I totally butchered that quote. We'll have to find what it really is and put it in the comments after we publish this. And you know what? Think about the sport of baseball. Baseball is built with a high rate of failure expected. Like a batting average. What if you have like a 200 and something batting average? You're missing how many pitches, you're striking out how many times, but you're still considered really, really good with all that failure.
So what's holding you back from taking that next risk, that next step, that to learn that new skill, to make that amends, to ask someone out on a date, can we eat at this time? Would you like to go see this movie? Hey, will you hang out with me tonight? Because in all of that, you're going to get a no at times. You're going to get, I don't want to do that. Don't take it personal. Just find someone else and keep asking. Soon, Kristin and I are going to do one of these sessions all about the principle ask, ask, ask. And we'll touch deeper on this. But I want you to know on the risk, that there's two sides of risk. There's the risk of stepping into, taking action, trying out this new path. Now, if it fails, you'll course correct, but keep moving. Then there's the risk of not taking the risk. In my life, and I know from all the people I've worked with over the years, that risk creates and causes much more suffering and damage in the life of somebody. So come on, you can do it. Take that risk.
Take that risk. And hey, if you want a little more on taking a risk, go watch the video that I believe is popping up at the end of this. Charlie on his bike talking about risk. It will motivate you and make you smile and inspire you to move forward and take a risk in what is it, like 3 minutes long. It is a phenomenal video. Go watch that. And hey, take a risk and share this video with somebody that you know could benefit from the content. Subscribe to the channel so you get our new videos every week as they come out. And remember that success does not happen by standing still. Take a risk, take a step forward, and if you fail, learn from it. And like Charlie says, course correct. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.